Namaste. So I hope you're all well, I hope you're all keeping good, and I hope you're keeping in that higher vibration, that higher frequency that is your higher self. And I hope you're all shining like the stars that you are on your own stage. This video, it might run on to being 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 parts. I don't know. I have no idea. I just start talking and then whatever comes out, comes out. I was guided to start talking this time about what is the illusion? What is the octave of existence that we are living in, that we call the universe, that my higher self and the higher being is called the illusion complex? Why do they call it the illusion, and why do we call it the matrix? Even they call it the matrix at times, although they prefer to call it the illusion or the octave of experience, but they say that everything is illusory. What is the matrix? This illusory matrix that we find ourselves in together. And why is it called, why do we look at this as an illusion? What is illusory about this matrix exactly? I'm sure that almost everybody watching this, if not all of you, have watched the movie The Matrix, or maybe you've watched all 4. There's a 4th one that's recently been released. I haven't watched that one yet, but I'm looking forward to watching that when I get out of here, when I can get back into a flat again. Okay, so what is the matrix? What is the illusion, and why do they call it the illusion? Okay. The octave of experience that we find ourselves in is a quantumly entangled, fully interactive, multidimensional, and fractal-based holographic light grid. The reason, now I will go into this, we will go into this further. The reason for the illusion is experiential, for experience to have the perception of locations and levels of consciousness and dimensional. I'm being shown now that it's only us who really see it as levels, though they explain it to us in levels so that our third density minds can conceive this in some linear way, because we're linear beings. Although that's the illusion I'm being shown. Okay, so let's go through the illusions. Why do the higher beings, including my higher self, call this the illusion or the matrix? What is illusory about this? Okay, well, we know by science that locality is an illusion. There are many, many things, potentially everything in existence, now that we know about quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Everything is, in many respects, non-local. Well, we now know that all of this illusion, all of this illusory universe, this octave of experience that we find ourselves in, is being projected here from somewhere else, a higher dimension. So the third, what we call the third dimension, I'm being shown that really this is the fourth dimension that we're in now. And it has been for quite some time, as we would look at time. Because the three dimensions would be height, width, depth, or height, width, length, which it's the same thing. So to create like a 4D box, let's say, okay, it feels like we're in like a fourth dimensional sphere or a fourth dimensional box, right? But ultimately, locality is an illusion, because we now know that something called emergence theory. I have some videos on the playlist called emergence theory, and emergence theory suggests strongly, and they are gaining more and more evidence to prove that what we call the 3D or the third dimension is actually being projected. The 3D, the third dimension, is basically like a shadow that has been projected off light being shone through a fourth dimensional quasi-crystal. Okay, so we know that locality is an illusion. We know that solidity is an illusion. Nothing is solid as we would think of the word as solid. Everything is holographic in nature. Everything, even the most solid of solid objects that we have on this earth, including the hardest granite that you can possibly get, and diamonds. Even diamonds are 99.999999999% empty space. That's a lot of empty space in between those atoms. And we now know that atoms, as we once were taught the atomic structure, we now know that atoms are not. Atoms are an illusion. They're not as we think. Ultimately, all atoms are connected to this infinite unified field. And each atom is basically a vortex of energy. And you can look at this as an infinite number of vortex energy systems, all connected together in the same one field. And we also know that atoms and particles are quantumly entangled. So the whole idea of space and locality and things being separate from one another is an illusion. We know that the concept of nothing is faster than the speed of light is an illusion. You better be ready for a lot more of your illusions, about our illusions that we were taught in school, to be smashed to pieces. This shows you the enormity of this. Pretty much everything that we were taught in school in the way of mainstream science, down to the quantum scale, down to the atomic scale, is an illusion. Was incorrect. Was not accurate. We now have far more accurate. We still don't have any way of explaining reality. We don't have a theory of everything. Everybody's looking for a theory of everything. A theory of everything. You know, one day maybe there will be. Who knows? I'm sure that one day there will be pretty much a theory of everything that will explain a lot of this. So what other illusions do we have? Time is an illusion. We know that now. Linear time does not exist the way that we thought that it did. Space-time is an illusion. We know this now. There are many people, including Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, Michio Kaku. There are many great physicists who are talking about this. So space-time is an illusion. Donald Hoffman PhD Dr. Donald Hoffman and his team have discovered that space-time is not just slightly illusory, it's entirely illusory. And so is the concept of Darwinian evolution. He said it's all out the window. You can check out his work. Just Google Donald Hoffman, and he has a book. I forget what the book's called now, but he's got a book. I think he's got a couple of books out, and it's something like The Illusion of Reality, or I can't remember, but it's a book that I'm planning on searching for and buying to read myself. I will find out the name of this book. So we know now that everything is made of energy. Nothing is solid. Everything is energy in motion, in continuous motion. We now also know that everything is quantumly entangled. Now we know that everything is quantumly entangled. We now know how manifestation works. See, in this illusion, the actual reality beyond this illusion is that every single potentiality, every possibility, every probability, every possible possibility vortex, every thing that could possibly happen has already happened. We know that now. And that we're just here to kind of, the observer, we know this now as well. We know that the observer, an intelligent observer such as you or I, has a drastic impact on the so-called matter that we observe. We now know that matter is not solid, and that matter has two states. Matter is waveform energy in all possible probability vortexes, all at once. And we know that with the observer having a certain expectation of a result, that collapses the wave function or the waveform into what they most expect to see as the result. So in other words, what you most expect to see, what you expect to happen in your life, what you expect to see in your life will most likely happen. The waveforms will collapse all around you and manifest. Nothing really gets created, but everything's already created. That's another thing. Creation has already happened. Every single thing that can ever be created in this universe has already been created in every single probable outcome. Think about that. We've come here as individualized portions, individualized units of divine consciousness from the Godhead. We are pieces of the Godhead. Just to round this video up, I'm looking at the time. We are pieces of the Godhead. I'm going to expand on all of this because this is too much for one video on here would be. We're pieces of the Godhead, choosing what we desire to experience. The concept is becoming experience. The subjective mind creates or manifests, more accurately would be manifests. The subjective mind manifests the object or the objective. So the objective or the object comes from the subjective mind of the observer. And we are all individualized observers in this game that we call life, that is really an illusion. So now that we know that this is an illusion, how do we play the game well? for our dreams to come true, whatever that may be. Okay, that'll do for this video. Namaste.